Many huge Hollywood stars get their big breaks as children, and not surprisingly, most of these roles are wholesome, innocent characters. While occasionally a child actor's first role will be a more gritty or adult-oriented one, most kids tend to find themselves in family-friendly roles that are decidedly G-rated. That's why it's always such a surprise when these child stars decide to take a role or two that no longer fits into the G-rated category. Of course, it's rare that an actor will take roles throughout their career that stay only in the family-friendly zone. If they are continuing to find success in Hollywood, the odds are pretty good they'll have to play something a little more adult at some point. In this video, we're taking a look at some of the famous child actors who made that transition and how perhaps we're never quite ready to see them in a different light. Join Facts First as we present innocent actors who shocked us with their R-rated roles. Emma Watson, The Bling Ring. Millions of people watched the Harry Potter movie series and got to see Emma Watson growing up in front of their eyes. She started as a young child actor who landed her first major role as Hermione Granger in the worldwide phenomenon set in the world of wizards and magic. But after spending most of her childhood at Hogwarts and its surroundings, Emma was ready to branch out to some more racy material. She first took on a role in My Week with Marilyn, but it was only a brief one, so we're focusing on her first lead role in an R-rated movie. This came in the form of Nikki in The Bling Ring. This movie, directed by Sofia Coppola, was about teens who go on a crime spree, robbing the homes of celebrities. Based on a true story, it allowed Emma to break away from the goody-goody role of Hermione and play a character with a darker side. And it was a welcome, if not shocking, turn for her fans to see. Zac Efron, The Paperboy. While he has since been in a variety of offerings, from the raunchy college humor of Neighbors to his own environmental-based adventure documentary travel show, Down to Earth, Zac Efron was originally known as a Disney star in High School Musical. As such, he had a squeaky clean image, crafted and curated courtesy of the Disney wholesome family-friendly machine. But it certainly worked wonders for him, turning him into an international star virtually overnight. But unlike many Disney performers who try to milk the kid-centric image created for them for as long as they can, Efron soon decided he wanted to branch out and find some more adult roles. After 10 movies into a burgeoning career, he took his first foray into the R-rated movie world with The Paperboy. In it, Efron is the lead who is investigating a death row case along with his brother. During the investigation, he manages to fall for an older woman played by the inimitable Nicole Kidman. It was a decidedly adult role and performance for Efron, who shared some steamy on-screen time with the much older Kidman. It did quite well in the festival circuit, ending up a favorite at the Cannes Film Festival. And Kidman even got acting nominations for the SAG Awards and Golden Globes, but the film bombed at the box office. Perhaps because Zac's millions of fans weren't quite ready to follow him from the halls of a Disney high school to a much darker place. Ryan Gosling, The Believer. Ryan Gosling is another actor who we've grown accustomed to seeing in a huge variety of roles as an adult actor. So you might forget that Gosling was, like Zac Efron, a child star in the Disney universe. He was notably a cast member of the Mickey Mouse Club, alongside other luminaries like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. So at some point, Gosling had to make the transition into some more adult-themed material. His first role of this type was about as drastic as possible. He played a part in the 2001 movie The Believer that made audiences immediately see him in a very different light. The movie, based on a true story, is about a member of the KKK in the 60s who finds out he's actually Jewish. Gosling played the man, Danny Ballant, and gave audiences a gritty and decidedly adult performance. It was certainly a shock for fans of his to see him spouting out dialogue that could have come straight from Nazi propaganda posters. His turn towards the end of the movie into a man who shows more compassion and self-actualization also gave audiences a taste of the raw acting talent that he's been able to display in myriad performances as an adult ever since. Leonardo DiCaprio, This Boy's Life. Leo DiCaprio has made a career from playing a huge variety of characters in every kind of movie you can think of. And when you think of movies like Wolf of Wall Street, The Revenant, and Django Unchained, Leo has starred in some of the most R-rated and adult-themed offerings of the last few decades. But like so many child stars, his start was on a decidedly non-adult variety. He was first introduced to audiences courtesy of the family-friendly sitcom Growing Pains. While he had a couple guest starring turns on shows like Roseanne, his first regular work was alongside the Seaver family. He was Luke Brower, a student of Mike Seaver's, played by the teen heartthrob Kirk Cameron. Mike finds out that Luke is homeless and invites him to live with the Seavers until they can reunite him with his dad. So while a homeless kid might seem like a grown-up type of role, you have to keep in mind that Growing Pains was about as far from edgy as can be. So it was a decidedly G-rated role. But he managed to make his transition into more adult-themed productions almost immediately. He joined the cast of This Boy's Life opposite Robert De Niro. The movie was a dark and moody one and told the story of the writer Tobias Wolff. Leo played a young Wolff who was abused by his stepfather, played by De Niro. So any fans of the young DiCaprio who had enjoyed his work on Growing Pains would surely have been a little thrown by his next project. Kristen Stewart on the road. Kristen Stewart's role in the Twilight series may have been quite non-Disney, but that doesn't mean it wasn't part of a series aimed at kids and tweens. After being cast as Bella Swan in the uber-popular series based on the best-selling books, Kristen became an overnight phenomenon, beloved by kids all over the world. And while the movies dealt with vampires, werewolves, and the like, it was family-friendly and solidified her status as a bankable child star for down-the-middle movies. Interestingly enough, before Twilight came along, Stewart had actually been in a few R-rated features as a young child, including Panic Room and Cold Creek Manor. But those served more as good acting experiences for her and didn't end up garnering her much fame. But once Twilight arrived and became a worldwide sensation, Kristen was immediately linked with the role of Bella and the world of preteen angst. And after several years of being defined by that role, Kristen decided she wanted to try out a more adult-themed movie. She was cast in the adaptation of On the Road, the classic Jack Kerouac novel. Kristen played Mary Lou, a 16-year-old married to an older man played by Garrett Hedlund. It was a much more adult-oriented role in an adult-oriented movie, which likely came as a shock to Kristen's legions of fans from Twilight. Anne Hathaway, Havoc. Anne Hathaway started out as a child actor who epitomized family-friendly fare. She got her big break in The Princess Diaries and was an overnight sensation as a watchable and charming child actor. She spent the next several years acting in several projects with similar vibes and content, including The Cat Returns, Nicholas Nickleby, and the fan favorite Ella Enchanted. But Hathaway, while enjoying her success and appreciating being a star of G-rated movies, wisely realized that those roles had a shelf life. She made that pivot by starring in the film Havoc. In it, she plays a teen rebel who does drugs and gets involved in a sexual foray with a notorious gangster on the streets of LA. Hathaway appeared nude several times in the movie, which likely shocked all the fans who had long considered her to be a prim and proper princess. But the movie certainly worked for Hathaway, who has gone on to play a huge variety of adult roles to great success and adoration. Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore was the epitome of innocent child star, as the world was introduced to her as darling little sister of Elliot, Gertie, in E.T. the Extraterrestrial. But famously, the rigors and temptation of being a huge star at such a young age was often too difficult for Barrymore to take. She lived a rather adult life of partying and hanging out with grown-ups in those early days. And then she took on the role of Ivy in the film Poison Ivy. While the movie tanked, it solidified the grown-up version of Barrymore that she was already embracing in real life. The character has gone on to achieve cult-like status and was ranked as the 6th best bad girl in cinema history by Entertainment Weekly. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you see any of these movies? Who do you think had the most shocking and surprising turn from child-themed entertainment to more adult stuff? Let us know in the comments section below.